Hello, wherever you guys are. Welcome to cricket.com's Monday Night Live podcast, episode 28, I believe it. And that's how we roll it right now with regards to how everything's unraveled in Vizag. We'll talk about that. But look, if you guys want to have a deep dive analysis of it, we already did it 3.5 hours ago with Gurkirat, Nikhil, and me. Speaking of Nikhil, good to see him back. And good to see my old friend back, Akshay Kumar Swami, who's apparently going to a South Asian country very, very soon. Hi, Akshay. How are you?
Doing all right, yeah. Excited for that. Flying out tomorrow. Been a while since I've taken a vacation. So yeah, looking forward to it for sure.
So it's another case of Akshay down under.
We can always be hopeful. I'll just leave it at that and move on very quickly.
Okay, Nikhil, long time. I haven't seen you in ages. How are you, my friend?
Yeah, how are you? It's been so long. I can't even remember the last time we talked. What did we talk about?
Man, I can't
How's life?
recollect. How's life, indeed? Honestly, it's going well. This Cristiano Ronaldo birthday, so obviously all the CR7
Oh,
fans, let's sue for India because a super win indeed. But what we're doing today is something kind of different because, like I said, Gurkirat, Nikhil, and me, we picked the bones about that Vizag win, and it's something that you guys can really get into after the Monday Night Live. But right here, right now, I just want to do something really different with regards to judging India and the 14 players which have taken part in this series so far, the two test matches, and how they've gone about their business with both bat and ball. We'll, of course, talk about every player. I also want to give you guys a disclaimer because the thumbnail and the title of the show suggest that Darren Gough is going to be coming on the Monday Night Live podcast. Now, there is a slight change in plan from Darren because Goughy, you know how he is and how he operates. Apparently, he's just texted me saying there is a last-minute little board meeting I'm having with the other county chaps. I'll keep you posted, lads. So look, 8:10, 8:15, I'm going to still be pandering to my WhatsApp to see if he can make a little quick cameo. But maybe, Goffy, you should just come out and tell us the truth because you don't want to talk about England losing on this Monday night. Right, we'll see how that moves. I just wanted to give you guys a little heads up over there. But like this video for starters nonetheless. And of course, follow Akshay, Nikhil, and I if you guys don't follow us already. The links in the description. Right, who do we start? We'll start with Akshay because he hasn't had his say yet on proceedings. What did you make of it? First thoughts generally about this Vizag win, and do you think that win that India have got was inevitable in some way?
No, not really. Definitely not inevitable. And to be honest, I don't think this is India winning. This is more like Jasprit Bumrah versus England, and Jasprit Bumrah has come out on top. Fantastic performance from him. Really happy for Jaspal and Gill as well in particular. But 100%, what Bumrah has done, especially on a deck like this. Again, make no mistake, Bumrah might have made it seem like, okay, yeah, you know what, there was something in it for pacers. Wasn't really the case. If you see how other pacers fared, of course, James Anderson is James Anderson, but what Jasprit Bumrah did, man. Like, yeah, for me, it's just the Jasprit Bumrah show.
Absolutely. SVK 307 saying Jazzball. You can absolutely apply it in every sense with Jaiswal and Jasprit doing what they did. There are more comments to take. Ask Darren where the Yorkshire's present Blazers. Careful now, Nani. I don't know if you want to tread on thin ice. But Soangi, I really appreciate you joining us on this Monday Night Live and really appreciate the comments. So keep it coming through. Right. Let's start with those report cards then, guys. And I'll have a go first. And I know we're pretty much going to be looking at a lot of things on our screen right now, but we'll try to break it down for you. We'll start with the captain. Now, I've gone for a B+ for Rohit Sharma, right? You take a look at what he's done with the bat in hand, nothing really to write home about. In fact, what has he mustered in those two tests? Just 90 runs at an average of 22.50. But it was always about his captaincy, which this series was going to be throwing a microscope at. Essentially, I think he's made a huge difference in day 4 today with regards to certain calls. We, of course, questioned him with regards to not just the Hyderabad test, but even in the first couple of days and how the changes were being made. There were still some real baffling ones of not introducing Ashwin in the second innings first up and then taking his time to do so. But even with regards to his fielding, I know 3 or 4 that I can remember from this test that went through his hands or fell short. And whatever way you want to put it down to. But essentially, I would give him a B+, as you guys can see over there, with regards to how he's come back right now. It's easy to, of course, discredit him when things are going pear-shaped, but he's got the win, and that's why that B plus is just about there for me for the Rohit Sharma. What do you guys think, Nikhil? On to your marking of Rohit Sharma, and you've gone for a B plus as well. So you echo the same thoughts, I reckon?
Yeah, I think the batting probably has left a lot to be desired, but he's also got an Jaffa. So that is something that I'll account for. The biggest reason for that, all the B plus, is also the call to not play on rank turners. Uh, so easily could have just gone on with that last memo, so to say. Okay, let's play on rank turners, let's spin them out. But I'll give it to them for taking that risk of giving good batting decks, because England really have people who can bat well and bat quickly, and we've seen that already. Now, yes, they've come up against a strong Bumrah. That's happened in this test. So, I'm very happy in that sense that you're looking at the larger picture and you want to get that confidence to your youngsters. So, that's one of those reasons, and hopefully, he can now come into the series after a 10-day gap and hit a couple of hundreds, and then there will be better things, and that grading for captaincy also will get better, because as we discussed just a few hours back, there is a lot happening with him in terms of captaincy, batting, people missing. So just that margin of error with Rohit as well in that department.
Yeah, many people are pointing out Stokes' run out was a turning point, Akshay, and it
Yeah.
was moments of brilliance from Jaiswal, Shreyas in the field, not just once but twice with that catch as well. But how he's marshaled the troops, because Harsha Bhogle asked him in the post-match presentation, what stands out with this win at Vizag for you, Rohit? And he immediately said about the youngsters in the team, how he had to marshal them, get the best out of them. There were, of course, heads dropping at certain times and certain passages of play where England absolutely dominated. But what do you have to say about Rohit, the leader so far? 2 tests in, 1 win, 1 defeat. And he's being judged like a madman on this series, like how Pat Cummins was, how Babar Azam was. And I feel even watching him today with regards to that hero cam option and Geo, I'm not going to, of course, tell the viewers what he was saying, but he was literally like, listen to me right now. If anyone does anything wrong, all of you guys are going to get it from me. Obviously, I'm putting it really, really nicely. But do you think that kind of senior leadership that he showed with all the young boys around has made India actually get over the line in Vizag?
I mean, to sort of, credit this win to his captaincy would be a bit of a stretch. Nikhil Bhai mentioned that his batting sort of left a lot to desire. I'd say his captaincy is also sort of, has faced a similar fate. I don't really think his captaincy has done. I mean, I've seen enough of his captaincy to sort of see, this has been the point of difference between the two sides. And again, I'm not speaking about this solely based on this series, because that'll be unfair to him. We can't just sort of, judge, gauge, or rate anyone's captaincy based on just 2 tests. But what I've seen in the recent past, the World Cup, the Asia Cup, all of that included, and of course, test matches, dating as far as a year back or so. I don't know, man, to be honest. I don't think he is the captain that I would have liked to, succeed Virat Kohli. Again, I'm not saying that I expected him to be more like Virat Kohli, but there needs to be some sort of, proactive captaincy. Again, like, I don't think I'll be saying anything new now, but to put it simply, no, I don't think Rohit Sharma's captaincy has been, anything attractive or pleasing or even comforting, to be honest. Because yeah, too defensive, like Mohammad Arhan has gone on to mention. We've spoken about this time and time again. I'm pretty sure Nikhil Bhai Gurkirat would have also alluded to this during the previews. During the reviews rather, that he's been way too defensive for our liking. You see tailenders batting, and still you see a field that's very evenly spread. You saw how England were batting today. The only time I felt, okay, you know what, India are trying to be aggressive was Joe Root's dismissal in particular. That's when it seemed like they were willing to bait Joe Root. They were sort of, willing to gift him a couple of boundaries if that was going to come at the cost of a wicket. Now, was it Rohit Sharma? Was it Ravi Ashwin? It's sort of, your guess is as good as mine.
Yeah, absolutely. Good to see Gaurav in the comments as well. Hello to you. And Max, yeah, a simple sporting weekend for me to enjoy. Hopefully it's likewise in your case. And Ramana Kira and Rohan Padal also have some really good points to make. But yeah, absolutely. What did you like about Rohit, though, as a captain? Because we've often slandered him. In fact, I was reading on Twitter more often than not, lots of fans saying, how many times has Bumrah saved Rohit across formats? How many times has Bumrah been the guy to really cover Rohit's failures as a captain? I don't know how much you necessarily agree with that, Akshay. And let's quickly take a look at what you've given him. You've given him a C plus, not even a B minus. Why is that?
Nope. And in case you're wondering what my true feelings about Rohit Sharma, the captain, are, do check out our latest shot on YouTube. You'll get an idea. It's a fantastic reference to something. I mean, do check it out. You'll probably know why. And yeah, Rohit Sharma's strategy pretty much has been ki Jassi, aja, ball dal de. Khatam. Just wait for Bumrah to come in and bowl. And again, this isn't coming from a place of disrespect. I genuinely wanted Rohit Sharma, the captain, to really do well for India, but it sort of shows ki, his captaincy, again, nothing new, but plan is agar kaam na kare, so that's it. He has excellent plannings. Kudos to him for being able to execute it as good as he's been able to do so. But every time he's failed at that, or every time the opponents have come up with something to counter their plannings, they really seem like, yeah, boss, pata nahi hai yahan pe ki kya karna hai.
Okay, I'll tell you what, we'll move on with this report card in just a bit because, as promised, the Rhino, the Dazzler, is, of course, going to be joining us very, very shortly. And let's get him on right now, in fact, because at the end of the day, we'd love to hear what Darren Gough had to say. Darren, thank you so much for your time. Good to see you wherever you are. And let me just ask you this for starters, because I know you played 58 tests and none in India, but that one in Vizag, did it please you or not really?
Oh, of course it pleased me. I thought it was an unbelievable test match. I think it's been an unbelievable series, to be honest. I used to love bowling in Asian conditions. I played in Pakistan and had a great record. I played in Sri Lanka and had a good record too. Got 9 wickets in Kandy. In India, I only played one-day cricket. I seemed to be always injured, which was the biggest regret of my life, having never played against India in a test match out of 58. So the test match was superb. I thought the pitch was an absolute belter. It had pace in it for the quickies. It had a little bit of turn, but not too much turn. And it held together really, really well. In fact, I think today's play probably turned less than it did on the first 3 days. So the pitch was there for England. A ridiculous figure to get, 399, when you think about it. But at the end of it, if it wasn't for Bumrah, I think England would have got pretty close.
All right. I just want to ask you, when you woke up this morning, which side were you kind of hunching towards? Obviously, the English in you would make you think the 332, they'll probably chase it down. But history suggested that no one's probably going to go get that on day 4 in a ranked order. Right here, right now, Goughy, 1-1, precariously poised with 3 more great tests to look ahead. Just want to ask you, how do England kind of bounce back immediately right now? Because it's a great level, this game. You know this better than anyone else. The highs of Hyderabad and the lows of Vizag. Where are this England team right now in the headspace? And do you think they're still quietly confident of doing an encore of 2012?
I don't know. I think India, that was a big, big day for India today. It really was. Realistically, I never thought they'd get 399. History tells you they're never going to get there. I was on the commentary for TalkSport, and I actually did say, but if India got more than 200 in their second innings, England were going to have no chance of chasing that down. But we dared to dream. The impossible, could it be possible? And I think the way they started with Duckett and Crawley, like they've done throughout the whole series, was superb. And it took one of the big guys. It would have taken a Stokes, a Bairstow, a Root, a Pope to get a big score, to get somewhere near. But with the second new ball coming and the way Bumrah had bowled throughout the game, I just didn't think. I thought it was just a step too far. Probably 100 too far. 300 would have been a decent total. England will play exactly that same way for the next 3 test matches. It's now a 3-match series. India needed that win. They were under more pressure today than England. They had to win. You could tell at the end of it, Rohit Sharma, the relief, the joy of actually winning that game, because there was a little bit of doubt. I'm telling you now, there was doubt from Indian commentators. There was doubt from the media. There was doubt from supporters. And there was doubt from certain players in that Indian team. But we all know when India get their strongest team back, they are going to be hard to beat on home soil. So I'm really excited about the rest of the series. Hopefully, I'm going to be able to get out there for the last one if the game's still in with a chance. The series is still in the balance. And I've really enjoyed it. 2 top teams playing good cricket.
Absolutely. I mean, it'll be good to see you in the Dharamshala. Imagine that with the snow-clad mountains, even though it'll be at the start of March. I'll let the boys get in with a couple of questions and then a few from the comments, but I have a couple of more just to ask you right now. And it has to be asked this to you, given the fact that we saw the beautiful art of reverse swing, Gough, come to the fore in this test match, and Jasprit Bumrah being the exponent of that. What is it with reverse swing, and why is it kind of a lost art in the game? You were brilliant at it. Could you just touch light on what you've seen with that and how Bumrah has just been exceptionally good at what he's done?
Well, Bumrah, first of all, and I've said this 18 months ago, if I owned a cricket team and I owned a franchise, or I was one of the coaches of a franchise anywhere in the world, and they asked me I could have one player to buy, I'm buying Bumrah. He has everything. That guy bowls with a new ball, an old ball, bowls a good bumper, a good yorker, a good slower ball. He bowls over the wicket, he bowls around the wicket. He is the full package. He's the best in the world, in my opinion. But with reverse swing, why it's so good, when the pitch is dry and it tends to go in low, if you can get your line right, it tends to go later. And that's why it's so difficult to face. You used to see back in the 90s when Waqar and Wasim and myself were reversing, a lot of teams decided to give themselves room because the ball was mainly reversing in to the right-hander. But over time, the bowlers have developed. They make it go both ways now, and it doesn't have to go a lot. We're talking it has to move that much. And that's all Bumrah was doing. When you're coming round the wicket, shaping into a left-hander, and it just holds its line. It's like an off-spinner almost. It's like Ashwin bowling round the wicket to a left-hander and just making it hold its line. It feels like this much. And that's why it's such an art. That's why the ones who are good at it are still the gun bowlers, not just in Test cricket, but also in T20 cricket, where I think the art of reverse swing and death bowling has disappeared. There's hardly anybody. And anybody who can do it gets over $1 million. I missed the boat. I wish I would have made my debut 25 years ago. Well, I did do. But I mean, I wish I would have been playing in the IPL 15, 20 years ago. That would have been awesome.
I mean, just honestly, there's so much to really talk to you about bowling. More on with Gough with regards to how he was with us the last time, and he did an absolute masterclass, a bowling 101 to say the least. And here's a man who's got 450 plus international wickets, and my stats man quickly tells me that more than 250 of those were reverse swings. So this is a man absolutely knowing his craft. Before I let the boys jump in, a certain Virat Kohli, everyone's thinking he's going to be back for the third test. How much is that advantage of India, and how much was it a disadvantage for India in the first 2 tests without him, Gough?
Huge. Body language is a big thing, not having Virat Kohli in that side. He leads. He might not be captain anymore, but he is a leader. He drags people with him. He's a determined character. He's a superb cricketer. And I think India missed him. In fact, when you look at India now, they're going through a bit of a transition. They're missing Pujara, they're missing Rahane, they're missing Virat Kohli. Jadeja's now out as well. Shami. I mean, that's a lot of good players to be missing from your starting 11. I get that they're going to go down. They're going down the route of these younger players now, like Jaswal, and you've got Shubman Gill, who came to the party this last Test match. Shreyas Iyer, who keeps his place really now because of his fielding, and you're still going to hope he delivers. And then Patidar is probably going to go, isn't he? And it's going to be probably Rahul or Virat Kohli. He'll probably come back into the side. So I'm interested to see. I think they've missed Virat Kohli. The rumours are he's coming back. I know Anushka's parents. I had dinner with them in Mumbai last year. I stayed there a couple of nights with them. They're a wonderful family, and I want to see Virat Kohli back. I want to see him back and going at these spinners of England, because England's spinners are very, very inexperienced. But so far, they have matched the Indian spinners.
Yeah, it's food for thought then. And you never know that Darren Gough would be cricket.com's mold to get a little extra information in Virat Kohli and whether he'll be returning. So could you confirm that, Darren?
Well, the rumours are that Virat Kohli will be returning in the next Test match. That's what I've heard. I've probably seen the same as you, but AB de Villiers let the cat out of the bag. So we all know that AB and Virat are pretty close. So I'm interested to see where we go with that. And I would expect Virat Kohli to play the next Test match.
Okay, super. Gopi needs to really run quickly, guys. So one question each. Akshay, you first.
Geez, firstly, Goffy, I wish I could say, big fan, but I'll be honest, my childhood was me just being terrorized by you and Andre Nell. Two bowlers, I just couldn't breathe, easy. I would see you and I'd be like, boss, I can't handle this. Just the intimidation. Loved it, of course, in hindsight. But yeah, just one question for you. We've seen England go with the three spinner strategy and go with just one pacer. We saw Mark Wood. Now we've seen James Anderson in the second test. Do you think they should probably, go for someone like a Robinson instead of a spinner because of, the accuracy, the consistency, and of course the experience also helps. He might not have played here necessarily, but he has some experience. Shoaib Bashir is playing his first series. So is Rehan Ahmed playing for the first time in India. Tom Hartley playing his first series ever. Do you think that experience might be of some help?
Good question. I think the way the first two pitches have played and the way Bumrah has delivered and the way Jimmy bowled in this match, I think the problem for England is that Ben Stokes has been such a warrior for the last 5, 6, 7 years of his career, and he's an awesome performer with bat bowling in the field. With him being injured and not going to be bowling for the rest of the series, it's a huge loss for England, and an all-rounder is such an important position. But if I could see one change for the next Test match for England, I think the batting will stay as it is. And I think one of the spinners, Bashir, will probably miss out. And I think Mark Wood will come in, or Gus Atkinson will come in to replace Bashir. And the reason I don't go for Ollie Robinson, I think he's a superb performer. But I think him and Jimmy Anderson are probably similar. And it depends on the pitch, because if you look at Mukesh in this Test match, he's a good bowler. There's nothing wrong with him as a bowler. But in this Test match, he has looked ordinary compared to Anderson and Bumrah. You've got to have something else. And I think for us, for England, it has to be pace of Wood or Atkinson to partner Jimmy Anderson.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Oh, nice. We have a ritual where somebody always speaks on mute, and Avanish has done that for the day. So thank you so much, Avanish.
Take it away. My bad.
Yeah. Just one question. Of course, thanks for getting all this admirations out already. But just one question. I think, how much do you think Ben Stokes' captaincy is playing on other captains? Because time and again, whoever he's playing against, they all looked a bit like waiting, reactive, of that sorts. How much do you think is Ben Stokes' captaincy already gotten to people in their minds? Because even with India, you saw today, with 130 to still go, you only had a couple of close-in fielders. So how much do you think the Bazball bit has already gotten to the opposite captains? And how would you react if you were to plan versus Ben Stokes?
I think it does get into teams' heads, Ben Stokes, the way he captains. And you could tell that he was very reactive in that first Test. And actually, he reverted to type as well in this Test. Rohit, I don't think any of the Indian players thought that Bazball would work in India. Everybody were talking about it. Ex-players, media, saying Bazball, they won't be able to play this way. England don't play spin well. But if you saw in the first Test, when the ball turns big, England are just going to sweep. They're going to sweep and reverse sweep. And they did that in the first Test, and it worked. You didn't really see the Indian team sweeping in that first Test. Now, if you watch the second Test in the first innings, England tried to play. They didn't think it was turning as much, so they tried to play down the ground. But in the second innings, you could see Rohit panicking, but England were going to get close, and the fields had all changed. They were spread out, and they made it easier in areas for England to get lots of singles. So I think it is playing on people's mind, and that's what I was saying. The pressure was on India today, and you could tell, but there was a little bit of a fear factor on not knowing how England were going to play. Now, if it wasn't for a couple of players just going a bit too far, Joe Root's shot today was horrendous. You wouldn't normally see that from Joe Root, and I don't think he needed to play that way when Zach Crawley was going so well. But I think now already the field settings improved from the first Test, and I think Rahul Dravid and the coaching team of India will be sitting down again with the captain and the players and deciding what they think is the best field for each individual player for England. And by the next test, they should have it spot on. And that's why India will remain favourites for the test series going forward. It took them 2 tests, but I think by now they should have enough information on how England are going to play. They're going to play no different. England are going to come out, try and score at 4-5 and over with a new ball, and then keep the scoreboard ticking over. That's the way they're going to play. And if you remember England, the way they've got out in previous tours is a lot of wickets have gone round the bat, caught short leg, caught silly point. These batters now that England have hate getting out in there. Ben Duckett will be absolutely fuming, but both innings he's got out, caught round the bat. That won't happen again the rest of the series. He'll just sweep, sweep, sweep. It's not going to get out like that again.
Gough, thank you so much for your time. Really, really chuffed having you on cricket.com's Monday Night Live. And get some great sun in Dubai. Honestly, I know you're headed there next. And I'm pretty sure you'll be keeping a keen eye on Wednesday's FA Cup proceedings as well. Coventry away.
I will do. Can't wait, mate. So thanks for having me. I better go. I've got a directors of cricket meeting I've got to get to now. But nice being on and speak to you again soon.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Like I said, perfect. Darren Gough, the dazzler. Absolute brilliance with regards to me getting a hat trick of English legends, guys. Not one, not but two, not three, and there's more to come. Thank you so much for your time. But hopefully you guys like that. I really apologize to Mohammad Arhan, Santosh, Ramna. All you guys had some cracking questions, but like he admitted himself over there, he was running late for a director's meeting, and so sweet for him to do that. And it's just about how you coax them. You know, sometimes you got to throw it wide of off stump. Sometimes it's going to be, guile and what Ashana does. Back to the report card, gents, because this seemingly now is becoming a long show, which is good for the viewers as well. Please give this video a like if you guys did like that section. And there's more fun sections to come because we're going to show you the newsletter, Akshay's quiz, and lots more, including the SA20 and that as well. Back to the report card, like I said. Now we'll swimmingly go fast with regards to the batters because look, Jaiswal, there's no need to even go down that route. We've given him an A+. The only thing in my mind was like, shit, should I really give him an EX, which is what I've given Bumrah, an excellent. But I've given Jaiswal an A+ because obviously I feel there's always room for improvement, even though you've scored a double ton and all of that. But then when you talk about the rest of the guys, and this is where the discrepancies will be between Akshay, Nikhil, and me. Gayle, I've gone for A-. Rahul, A-. Gayle, I've gone for A- because that 100, I think, was very, very crucial. And he scored remarkably well. So he's had a huge part to play in this test. Iyer, a C+ only for that Stokesy run out. Otherwise, he was borderline D for me. And then Patira picks himself, and we'll get to the keeper. But my batters, that's my explanation. What do you guys think? Akshay, let me come to your report card before Nix finishes off with his. Now, you've gone for C's and A's and a C+ for Shreyas Iyer. Is that because of the run out as well?
I mean, I don't think when you're giving someone a C+, you're going to look at the positives. You're only going to look at the negatives and why has he ended up with C+. So yeah, his batting has again, not really been up to the mark. Given how crucial he was going to be in these conditions, we'd spoken about overseas mein to short ball trouble and all of that. Though Indian conditions mein again spin, he will be our primary enforcer. He'll be the one who'll sort of go aggressively and probably play that Bazball-less cricket. Clearly that's not been the case so far, and yeah, he's ended up with C+. It's and that's something that's more of a disappointment. Unlike Avanish, who thinks a C+ is a promotion ki haan run out acha tha, isliye C+ diya. That's not the case.
Bro, in school when I used to get C+ compared to C- or a D, I'd be like, okay, fine, I know there's something doing right because that plus is just humanly it motivates you. So
100%.
Now you've gone back to that. But by the way, I just want to point out a really funny comment here, being cheeky as ever, Shubham Gupta. But yeah, we're going to get more crazy players. Trust us when we say that. And we're pretty chill. We're just like doing this for a living. So it just comes naturally.
But Darshan, in all fairness, I'll also add ki lagta hai, thank you so much. If anything, I'll take that as a compliment ki we come across as being chill. Andar to
And then the best bit is because Avanish is talking to them first, it kind of takes out all the nerves from us कि भाई हमने तो कुछ और ही बड़बड़ा कर देंगे वैसे भी.
100%, 100%. But coming back to my report card, I'll just add about Gill as well. Gill, again, A minus simply because of had a lot to do with the turn, but special shout out to his fielding as well. His slip catching has been top notch. He's been a very safe fielder there, so I've loved seeing him there. And yeah, of course, that century was much needed. More than the century itself, the way he got it, he seemed like it started off a bit scratchily, but he got into his zone, he became comfortable, and by the end of it he looked his old self, and that was a lot more heartening to see. And hopefully we'll get to see a lot more of that version of Gill going forward. So yeah, A minus, a fair bit of it had to do with his fielding as well. So yeah.
No, but say if okay, fine, the fielding still stuck with him, but if he didn't get that 100, how much would you give? Would you have given him the same like grade as Iyer, C plus?
Yeah, C plus, B minus at best.
Okay, let's move on to Nikhil's report card right now and see what he's made of the Indian batters so far in this series. Now, B plus, like we discussed, Rohit Sharma there. A plus for Jaiswal, so we can cover those thoughts. Similar with Gill and similar with Rahul. Now, you've gone for a C with Shreyas Iyer and not the plus next to it. Why is that, Nikhil?
I think C, as Akshay said, C hai to fir then I don't think the plus minus matters. And I think most of it is pretty much similar because we've all assessed it pretty much in the same vein. And again, the C, Bs are more to do with our expectations also, that what we expect of the players and how they have come through. So yeah, I think pretty much everything that Akshay summed up. For Shreyas, possibly the last test, unless they play with KL as a keeper in the next one, he could have potentially probably played his last game for a while as of now. So I think the batting bit is same. Patidar again probably unlucky, both those dismissals. So humble ऐसा कुछ था नहीं, but ठीक है. I'll take it. Uh, sorry, I got completely distracted by that. Yeah, Patidar being unlucky, so that's why that B plus grade that it is. And yeah, I think most of our bowling ratings are also pretty much similar, to be very honest.
Okay, super. Let's move on to the rest of the chaps right now. Meanwhile, you guys can also feel free, like Ashutosh and the rest of the guys, giving their thoughts. KS Bharat ko F de do. Ankar Viswas also saying out of 10, Jaiswal 9, Rohit 4, Gill 7, Iyer 4.5, KS Bharat 3, Ashwin 6, Bumrah 9.5, Akshay 6. Good to see that. Ashwin will deep dive into him in just a bit because the MNL question tonight is also around Ashwin. Bill M goes on to say Mukesh should get D with regards to his verdict over there. Right, going back to that report card, and what did I give KS Bharat? I gave him a C minus. Now, both you guys have actually done well to give him Akshay first, give him a C plus, and Nikhil has gone for a C. So pretty much, okay, fine. Agreement with KS Bharat over there. Going back to the all-rounders, Akshay, Jadeja, Ashwin, all flat A minuses. What have Nikhil gone for? All B pluses, and Akshay, B-A-B. I mean, I don't know if he was just trying to make a word over there, but
and yeah, look at who's gotten a B minus and look at who's gotten an A minus. Hopefully that rests my argument. Hopefully.
Okay, fair enough. That's why they say baap baap hota hai, you know what I mean? Anyway, 1 second. Akshay, why have you given Akshay a B minus? Because we've all given him good marks, but why do you feel like I understand? Because if you actually saw him live and his fielding so far the series, I feel like he could do really better. That's where I would probably put some marks down for Akshay. But with what he's done so far and that 45 that he batted, he actually looked pretty decent as a batter this series.
Sure, again, the 44-45 that he scored, happy with it. Fielding, not up to the mark. That Audi Pope drop, of course, all of us remember that from the first test. And again, Akshay Patel, his primary skill is bowling. I'll start off that way. And with his bowling, I don't think he's been up to the mark. Personally, I feel he should have been a lot better, especially in the second test when he was our second spinner. He was the second spinner to Ashwin. And was not there. I mean, wasn't as penetrative as he should have been, especially with that first spell in both innings. With the bat, he's had a couple of handy knocks, but again, not something you can write home about. With the Jadeja, you at least have that 80 odd that he scored in the first innings of the first test. With Akshay, he looked good with this 40. In the first test, if I'm not wrong, the second innings of the first test, when he was promoted up the order, the one time when, sort of the think tank seemed to be a bit proactive and trying to be, sort of seeing ki kya kar sakte hain yahan pe. He, I won't say failed, but he did not, make that opportunity count. So all these factors considered, I don't think I would go beyond B minus, even in hindsight.
Yeah, it's an interesting one with Akshay because look, if you look at his stats, he's sixth in terms of run getters in this series, 133 runs, so he's done all right. But with the ball, Nikhil 5 for 206 in the 47 overs he's bowled. Excuse me. What did you make of that figures generally? And when you look at Akshay in India, did you expect that to be 8 for 182, 9 for 150? What are you hoping in terms of dividends from Akshay?
They're definitely expecting better returns, which is why all the three ratings for the spinners are B plus. Simply from the expectation that these are your home conditions. This is where you expect them to dominate. And while they're dominating, it is not an unfair expectation to have of them. And even if you're not able to dominate, you would expect them to, as you said, keep the runs down or create enough chances so that others benefit. At this point of time, they've all three of them have at times been taken aback by how well England have played the spin bowling, whether it is by sweeps, whether it is Crawley just using his reach. So that's where probably left a lot disappointed in that sense. Having said that, I think Aksar wasn't used the best in the first innings, only bowled 4 overs. And today, I think he was overbowled. Though there was fair justification that, okay, maybe they want to hit the rough outside off stump and, try and create those chances. And to be honest to him, he did create few chances. But with Aksar, I always feel he'll have to always be the guy who keeps taking wickets because he's the third guy in terms of the pecking order. You have Jadeja, Ashwin, and Tisa spinner Cheto Kuldeep. So he's always going to be the guy who has to keep performing, which is why his batting 45 was great. Got a grubber. Won't put it to him, कि भाई, why did you not play that off well? But with the ball, not getting enough control, or at times India has, and all three are guilty of them. Jadeja as well. Jadeja gets B plus more for that run out because for once I just want him to start judging those singles well. It's almost so many times that you can count कि भाई जडेजा है, बहुत ज्यादा प्रेशर है तो ये रन आउट या तो होगा या तो सामने वाला होगा या तो खुद होगा. So I don't think that's a good vibe to have, that so many people felt that it will come. So that is that for Jadeja. And for Ashwin, I think yes, we'll discuss it ahead. But for Aksar, I think this series is very, very critical. I'm happy that he's batting at 6, but he'll rue that soft dismissal for the first innings. You want him to do better. So just to cover up that, okay, if he has a decent, okay series with the ball, he's still putting vital contributions with the bat.
Okay, super. I mean, Akshay Patel, generally, if you look at how his life has moved on in the last 3 years, because 3 Febs ago, he literally made his test debut. 14 matches since, 55 wickets, averaging about 35 in the longest format of the game. So it's really everything to praise about Akshay Patel. And he just turned 30 as well, right? So the age factor is there, that perfect little usherance into filling Jadeja's shoes. And let's see how that really goes on with Akshay in this series. Shubham saying, Avanish, please give us some UZ gossip. I'll try to, in the IPL segment we have, I'll try to see what our friend Akshay has in terms of IPL gossip. I know Dinesh Karthik was hinting to Harsha Bhogle that he's doing a separate practice session before the whole RCB season begins for him. So we'll talk about IPL in just a bit. And remember, it's just 8:40 right now. So all you guys, do yourselves a favor by getting yourselves some food and just join us for the next 50 minutes, I'm guessing, because it is a long M&L with regards to that. Going back to the report cards then and bowlers, because Bumrah, guys, we've spoken about him so much and deservedly so in the first test, in the second test, in that review with Gurkirat earlier today, but we can't give him anything below an A plus or an EX because he's just shown why he deserves that. Let's see if the lads concur. Akshay, how can you give him an A plus? Come on, bhai. Because I know Nix has also given him, Nix has given him like a grade which is above the grade charts, which makes sense. But why are you giving him A plus, bro?
Maybe because the school I studied in had A plus as its highest grade. ये क्या है भाई? I mean, I agree कि बंदा alien है.
So if you had this, you would always have remark. Even if you had the highest grade, there would still be a remark which would say very, very good or excellent. So that is what is missing from this.
वो लेकिन मैं बोलेगा ना, वो सब बोलेगा, आप टेंशन मत लो. ऐसा नहीं कि A plus दिया तो आपसे कम उसको मैं मतलब क्रेडिट दे रहा हूँ. 100% deserves every bit of respect that Nikhil bhai and Avanish have mentioned here. And A plus again. It's not कि मैंने उसको कम दिया. That in my head that was the maximum I could have given him, so I gave him the maximum possible rating. Fantastic performance from Bumrah, and I feel bad for him because in all likelihood he should have been rested for the third or the fourth test. At least that's how I was thinking of it. कि भाई को थोड़ा बीच में rest मिलेगा. But having seen how the team has performed and fared in the first two tests, he's clearly going to feature in all the 5 tests. Then he'll have to play the IPL, then the World T20, and then there's also, okay, I don't know if he'll play the India-Bangladesh series, but that's a lot of cricket. I hope he's there for the India-Australia series fit and fine in December. So yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. Just on Bumrah, Nikhil, and we'll just show some numbers in case you guys have missed it with regards to all the data digest which has been happening on the website and the app. Now, you take a look at what he's done. One of the best indeed, because best averages in test among bowlers with 150 plus wickets, and he's in great company over there. Absolute legends of the game. You talk about the West Indies Pacers feature Marshall and Garner, but even Sydney Barnes. So Bumrah, 20.28 is an average. And really quickly, Nikhil, because we dwelled upon his great success in that showstopper segment in the review. He's already kind of had the number of all the English batsmen right now, if you look at it. He's got Pope out, Root out, Pesto out quite a bit. How much of that will be an impact later on in the series as well, given that Rajkot and Ranchi won't again be the most conducive for pacers?
Does he need conditions to be conducive to pacers? And that is a hallmark and the answer to every question that there is with related to Bumrah, because average is 20. I mean, I don't know if people can understand 20 as a bowling average in itself is great. Then if you have it over a period of time, 150 wickets, he's at home, probably 6 tests only, not more wickets, but he's taking wickets every 5 overs. His counterparts, or his fellow colleagues, they bowl 11 overs and 12 overs in the entire test. And this guy is getting wickets every 5 overs for you on an average. So I don't think there is enough metric to quantify and tell you how good a bowler he is, because he's not depending on decks. And I don't think there can be any better or more compliment to just tell you how special that person is. If you want to look at it, look at the Ben Stokes dismissal today. That is the best example for every one of us to see how much independent of the pitch his bowling is. Nothing is happening. Just be there, hold the line, and then comes the slower ball, and he's ready for it. I mean, will run out of adjectives, and we could talk about Bumrah all day, and yet say the same thing again and again. He's beyond this. He's beyond all these mortal ratings and all of that.
One compliment we can pay him in a very weird way is that if you actually close your eyes right now as a cricket fan and think about Bumrah in every continent, every condition, getting a wicket, I can actually picture that. Because if you close your eyes and think about, him getting a wicket in New Zealand, you can. South Africa, you can. West Indies, you can. Australia, you can. England, you can. Sri Lanka, you can. It's insane what he's done in that 6-year mark and onwards and upwards for Bumrah. And you guys are having a little joke in the comments as well, but onwards and upwards, I guess. So all of us have given him high ratings over there. We'll get to Ashwin in much more a deep dive, because I know we've rated him as you guys have seen him, but the rest of the bowlers then, lads, an A- I've given Kuldeep Yadav, and C- respectively for Siraj and Mukesh. What have you guys given the backup pacers? Yeah, Akshay has agreed with me, and Nikhil has agreed with us as well. Nikhil's gone for an A+ for Kuldeep Yadav. Akshay has gone for an A-, but pretty much we're in concurrence with the rest of the bowlers. Who was the best of the bad bunch then? Because if Bumrah was really good, the others are kind of not at the best, but still vital contributions and blows. So who would you give that second best bowler medal to, Akshay, so far?
So this is, to be clear, this is a very anglicized version of galat aur bahut galat mein kya chunte hain aap. That's all Avanish has done here with that bit of glorified English and that sophisticated accent. But yeah, I agree with Avanish and in terms of our ratings, and of course Kuldeep was the best of the lot, and by a margin. If I have to pick between Siraj and Mukesh, no, I'm not going to do that, because there's no point engaging in that discussion. Both of them have been bad, to put it simply. Mukesh, again, in the second test, pata nahi kya chal raha. I don't know if it's the lack of confidence shown in him that's sort of seeping into his bowling. I just, because the way he was bowling, England, especially Ben Duckett, for example, feeds off of length balls. That's what he likes. Despite that, Mukesh, मतलब पता नहीं यार, like on the one hand I want to sort of sympathize with him because his strength is bowling length, hitting those hard lengths again and again, and बेचारा वही करने की कोशिश कर रहा था. So I don't know like who to sympathize with him, with Rohit Sharma, with Rahul Dravid. Like I would like to hear Nikhil bhai on Mukesh Kumar, especially in this test.
I think we spoke about it in the exact manner that you did in terms of what are his strengths, and given both of them C, can probably give C plus to Mukesh for that one wicket that he took today. But again, he also bowled an over extra for that, and that's how that probably sums up, right? They haven't been trusted enough, and that's where I actually sympathize with them because it's a sign that the team wasn't prepared for what is going to happen at the other end, and that's just one of those things that India was not prepared for, because like you said, if his strength is to bowl hard lengths or to bowl length, have a sweeper in place, let Ben Duckett fly one to the deep. It'll max be a single, but it will give Mukesh that confidence that it is okay because everybody is not Bumrah. Everybody isn't Bumrah to just find the lines and lengths, like okay, here, tuck, 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 that's where I'll bowl. Even Shami at times has been of that aspect where you feel okay, he's losing a bit of control. Let's not talk about the final, any which ways. But it happens. And that's just the example. It happens with the best of them. So I think their usage can be better. And with Mukesh, even with reverse, you could feel that okay, he's finally starting to get into it. But that lack of confidence, see, it is one thing given the ball when you need wickets, and it's one thing when you give it the ball to say, go and take some wickets. So it's a lot of difference in terms of how you are communicating with the bowler as well. So I don't know if they'll play again, but one pacer will. Unlikely. Maybe I don't know. Maybe Raj could. Maybe Dharamshala for sure. So I'm very keen to see what are the plans then, because they will need a sweeper cover. Pat Cummins had it. Bhai. Pat Cummins had a sweeper cover for Josh Hazelwood. Mukesh Kumar, बहुत दूर है. Please, let's have that sympathy as well.
And sometimes it's not about going against the ego of the player, the opposition. Just put protection out there. Like Nikhil just pointed out, the Ashes first ball, they didn't want it early. Take any chances, the Aussies. By the way, some cracking questions as usual in the chat. Really love this. Thurup, if you're new, please subscribe. I know you're absolutely hating the commentary right now. So is Mohammad Arhan, because he's saying, guys, can we give a report card for the commentators in this game too? Apart from Ravi Shastri, all of them were an F. What poor commentary. I'll just try to channel my inner Harsha Bogle and say, what a shitty report card for all the commentators. But jokes apart, though, I think Ravi Shastri, look, as much as you guys slander him, I still feel like I love listening to commentary whenever Ravi Shastri is around. And it just adds a little oomph. But you guys might disagree with me in the comments. More questions being asked. Max Mojo, I think there was one from Santosh Shurippa. Shubham Gupta has a few funky ones as well. We'll save all of the best ones in the 12th man segment, 100%. We've really overshot this India-England sort of chat, but we'll finish up with Ravichandran Ashwin. But before we get into Ashwin, because I think Mohammad Arhan and plenty other people in the review were asking about us to talk about Ashwin, which we will. But again, like I keep hinting, cricket.com is all about numbers at times, and that is depicted well on our app and our website and just on all our social media platforms. Subscribe to us on YouTube if you haven't already, 45K, and not to forget IG and X as well. You can see numbers like this. Root, it's of course well documented already that he's having his struggles in the 4 innings. On the contrary, Zach is definitely in the zone. It feels like he's just going from strength to strength, even though he got an absolute crazy howler against him. And speaking of going from strength to strength, Anderson just doesn't seem to stop, because he is just behind Courtney Walsh in terms of now most test wickets by a visiting pacer. More available on the cricket.com website and the app, like I said. But Ravichandran Ashwin.
Those who noticed the googly. Now I'll leave it there. Please continue.
Yeah, I was gonna give it away, but yeah, you guys will know if you connect the dots and if you guys are a regular of our live shows. Ravichandran Ashwin, he stands on 499. Like Ravi Shastri said, 500 minus 1 because Tom Hartley reviewed and it went correctly to England. But it's inevitable. And let me just put out the question that we're asking on MNL tonight. Simple. Who will Ashwin get as his 500 test victim? Will it be Ben Duckett? Will it be Zach Crawley? Will it be someone else? I think it'll be Ben Duckett. I don't know if the boys feel. But think about that in the chat. Akshay, how do you kind of see Ashwin in the last year or so in test cricket? Do you think obviously he's heading into that twilight period of his career. But do you think 500 can then become 600? When does this man stop? Because he's not been the best so far, but I'm guessing his best is yet to come this series.
Oof, 500, can it become 600? I hope that becomes, I'm trying to think, September 17th, 1986, if I'm not wrong. So what, that makes him 36, 37, turning 38. Sorry, that is this year. Yeah, it won't be easy for sure, especially given that India will be playing a lot of overseas tests in the next year or so. They're playing 5 in Australia, 5 in England next year. Won't be easy for sure. And as far as his bowling in the last year or so is concerned, especially in tests, he's been good, no doubt. This series, he probably started off, he didn't start off as well as we would have expected him to. Again, he's falling prey to his own high standards, so I won't blame him for that. Hota, everyone goes through a downturn. But the way he came back in the second test, I loved the second innings in particular, that is today, because again, all my analysis or opinions about this test will be limited to day 4, because that's the only day I sort of watched clearly. And I really liked what I saw from today, especially the way he was bowling to Bairstow. It almost seemed like he sort of got in his rhythm back, and he knew now at what pace he needs to bowl, how to get more revs in. That root wicket was also really good to watch. The way he got more revs in, the way he sort of used the angles, especially to get the ball away from root, because he knew he baited him nicely. So I won't say Ashwin has been bowling bad or anything like that. He's definitely there. And if again, at the risk of sounding a bit diplomatic, but yeah, I don't know. मतलब मिलने तो चाहिए, but India में ज़्यादा test matches नहीं होने वाले in the next year and a half. So पता नहीं यार क्या होगा, to be honest. Let's just hope that he gets a 600th as well.
Ashwin, I'll tell you what, he's already given me goosebumps twice this series. Once before the ball was bowled this series in that Naman Awards where he said Bazball excites me. And I was just like, wow, he's really right up Ben Stokes and Baz McCullum's alley in terms of mind games. And then, of course, that celebration when Bumrah got Bairstow today and he channeled his inner Kohli and he just gave it up to the Yorkshire man right in his face, which is what I love to see. And we keep saying, yeah, he's not really delivered so far the series. He's still got 9 wickets. He's still the third highest wicket taker of the series. And he set such high standards for himself in Indian conditions, Nikhil. It makes you think that he's almost like a peak Virat at his time when he was getting 70s and 80s, but not getting hundreds. And people are like, he's getting 2s and 3s, but we want 5er from Ashwin, we want 6er from Ashwin, because it's almost a norm in India, right? That's testament to the man.
100%. And a lot of us will have discussions, plenty of such 2-hour discussions, wondering who is the next Ashwin. Because this home season has taught you a lot of things that were being taken for granted. They're all coming back to haunt you. You know, people scoring runs at home, अरे कोई भी कर लेगा, करो फिर. Why are people getting out of stats? घर पे पेसर विकेट तो कोई भी ले लेगा. उमेश यादव ले रहा था, मुकेश ले रहा है. सिराज को उतनी bowling दे रहे हो तुम. It takes time for everybody to grow. So I think what Ashwin has done, and we've taken him for granted. Let's be very, very honest about it. It's almost taken for granted कि भाई Ashwin है, lefty है, bowling दे तो ले लेगा. He struck with his first over. Ben Duckett, 5 balls. It took him 5 balls, and yet he did not open the bowling. So there are still things which are stopping him, but he's still finding a way. It just tells you the hallmark of a great guy in terms of how he's found a way to be relevant. To the 600 bit, I don't think the time is going to allow that. As you know, Akshay also rightly pointed out, a lot of away tests, and India is planning for away tests. Let's not discuss this now. It's a good day, so let's stick to that theme. But at home, I think he's constantly changed himself and found a way, just like as you mentioned. Even in the first and the second innings, there was a difference in the bowling action. How many people are even going to think that way? So you're definitely going to miss Ashwin. And I just said it many episodes ago, we're an injury away from actually losing our minds that do you even have a next mini Ashwin ready to a thinking off spinner who can really take a bunch of wickets? And you won't always get rank turners or other pitches where you feel anybody can take wickets. It's on wickets like these where you will miss Ash. You saw today when Pope was going hard, who did they turn to? Who got the wicket? Who got the extra bounce? It was him. Zach Crawley in the first test, it was him who broke that stand. So I think a lot of thinking that Ashwin does is often taken for granted. What we feel is basics. He's also doing it just like we have with Bumrah, and hence the high expectations of them. So India will miss him. As Akshay said, I hope we see a better wicket-taking version of him. With Virat back, I'm hoping there will be a lot more chats that let's use Ashwin with a new ball. There is no reason to not use that. So hopefully that will be also done. And with that, I feel Ben Duckett should be the guy. Caught Gill, bowl Ashwin. That's early prediction done.
Super, and I love the fact that you've added that little anecdote of Ben Duckett, maybe his 500th, because we asked you that as a MNL question to the rest of the viewers. And our stats man, Anirudh Kaskor, absolute brilliant stat that he's given us right now, because he said if Ashwin does get Duckett as his 500th, he will have a 250 apiece against right-hand batters and 250 against left-hand batters. So he's not just eating
He's not a
left-handers
matchup.
up.
Yeah, he's not a matchup bowler. He is a proper test legend.
Absolutely. And sometimes even the biggest Ashwin fans would remember those times he's got Sangakkara out. He's got the top of the top left-handers out. Stokes, in fact, 12 times. You mentioned about getting crucial wickets this series. That one that he got, absolutely brilliant indeed. Avnish's doppelganger, scientists are now saying Thurup, Makrop, and lots more people having their chat made felt in the comments. Right. I just want to take one more. Mohammed will be talking about SA20 in just a bit, indeed. And a really, really, really good point there with regards to V18. And I agree with it because it's a rhetorical question in hindsight, but you can guess this is as good as us, V18, because if you look at who's going to fill in the shoes of so many Indian cricketers right now in this Indian Test team, it's hard to fathom. But that's the beauty of cricket, and that's the beauty of transformation of each team, indeed. Is Virat coming back? Do rewind, because Darren Gough has told us on MNL that he's close to Anushka's parents and that Yorkshire connection over there. And I won't say more. Go rewind the show. If you guys are just joining us, we had Darren Gough and it was fantastic. So like the video for not just that Darren Gough insight, but also the fact that Ashwin is on the verge of 500. And that's how we want to leave it there. Please like the video. Indeed, let's move on to other things that we want to talk about on Monday Night Live, but that was a question that we were asking with regards to the MNL question tonight. Right, SA20 time then, and that all features in a big chunk of the best of the rest tonight. Right, the SA20 definitely is promising up some hot action, and the final is going to be on the 10th of Feb. You guys can check out all the stats and the live blog and the analysis and the features on cricket.com. I shouldn't say any more, but Akshay and Nick's take it away, because you guys have been having a keen eye on things in the Rainbow Nation, especially you, Nick's. Let me just, of course, reflect the standings for all those people who need recapping, because it is Kavya Maran, Sunrisers Eastern Cape, right on the top of the pops, 33 points. Durban Super Giants, 32. Pearl Royals, 22. And the JSK franchise, 17, which is Faf du Plessis and his team. Nikhil, I'll start with you. What's happening? What's the good, the bad, the ugly of SA20? Because I've been loving it through the highlights, but pretty much just that.
Yeah, I mean, one thing that I've said in the past as well, SA20 is great for the crowd. Excellent atmosphere. Even the last game that you would see, even if it's the Pearl Royal games versus Sunrisers or the game how GSK qualified. And I tweeted that they need to hit 5 sixes with 3 overs to go. And they went on to hit exactly 5 sixes. And you see that celebration that Darrell had with Madsen at the other end. Incredible game. An incredible way to qualify. And no shame at times in rejoicing that sometimes just big names do not help you. You'll need to hit sides as a unit. Having said that, yes, I think GSK and PAL both will feel that they probably haven't played their best, and the competition format is such that even if you're winning only 3 games, you're still able to go through. Now that is debatable, but at least you're not last for 2 seasons in a row. So sorry, Pollard. As much as love you as an all-rounder, but sometimes the game just gets back. I don't know why, but it does. Sorry.
Akshay, what did you make of proceedings over there? Because I'm quickly peering at some stats. Ryan Rickleton's been the talk of the tournament so far, 530 runs. But any other ridiculous batting performances that we might have missed?
Faf du Plessis, of course, couple of really good knocks. That 50 of 20 against Cape Town.
What are the chances of you? What are the chances, man? Have you started?
I'll mention one more name. To eliminate all those chances as well. Will Jacks, really good knock there as well. Might not have scored as many runs as Rickleton, who of course has had a freakish season, like 550 runs.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but I feel like I'm surprised you didn't give Rajat Patidar an A+ in that report card.
You can thank me later. You can thank me later for that. See, I'm very non-partisan that way. I'm very neutral. You see that? You see that? But
And
Ryan Rickleton, again, importantly, it's not just the 550 runs. Strike rate of 173. That's bizarre. I mean, just crazy. Will Jacks, 108 meter, दो छक्के भाई back to back. ऐसा भी नहीं कि एक छक्का मारा. So again, he scored 200 plus runs from what I remember last when they showed the graphics. Importantly, strike rate of 180, man. That's what I'm looking for. And 100% agree with you, Irfan. Even I was genuinely disappointed with Pretoria Capitals. मतलब भाई क्या batting lineup है, and how do you not qualify with that batting lineup? But
that
if you're
is
going to talk
proper
about that,
Capitals.
yeah,
That is proper Capitals bit. See, there are two different things. MI have a lot of names, but they haven't quite found out the best positions for people. Some Sam Curran bats at 5 some days. See, I'm all for flexibility. Durban Super Giants are proper Jai Mata Di OP in that
man.
regard. Someday Mulder bats at 3. Someday Mulder will bowl. Someday Dwayne Pretorius will not bowl. Someday Kimo Ball will bat at 5 and Klaasen won't come
Klaasen
out to
को
bat.
18th over तक रख रहे हैं, पता नहीं क्या.
Klaasen तो sorry, I'll just say this in the Klaasen अपना video game लेके आता है. I have tweeted this every single time. He just comes in last 3-4 overs, 17 ball 40, 15 ball 38, something. Will just it's crazy, and I've never seen anybody just hit the ball so well, and it does. It's look like set हो गया है. He's almost like had a net before coming out. So, just sorry to get back to MI and Pretoria Capitals. Pretoria Capitals have a Jai Mata Di lineup. So, and you have Raso there. He has an average of 16. Had an average of 17 of sorts in the last season. This sums up their batting lineup. If they were
What was that knock? क्या 11 of 34 was it, or
30
28?
has something. You have no clue what is happening. And yes, Max Mojo, I completely relate to this pain that you can never guess the pitches. And we discussed this in the previous MLS. Someday the same pitch feels like 200, and the other day both teams combined will not make 200 is what it feels like. So that is there. But I think Paji ko Capitals ka dukh puchna chahiye. They have a lot of high variance players, hasn't quite come off. I'm very looking forward to see how MI regroup, because again, high expectations, lot of big names. But I actually, because when we previewed SA20, I said that Polar's captaincy may be different from Rashid Khan, but turns out it didn't matter. And I mean, it is what it is. Kya kare?
And again, Avanish को थोड़ा और context देने के लिए, the match, they were chasing 170 odd, and Riley Russo comes up with a knock of 10 runs of 27 balls, and they end up losing by 8 runs or 9 runs. Yeah, मतलब क्या था वो game? And Klaasen in SA20, at least this season, has almost looked like the batter's version of Bumrah. मतलब क्या ही खेल रहा है भाई, क्या ही खेल रहा है. He's come after the 18th over thrice, and all 3 times he scored in excess of 30. Once even a 50, 55.
50.
क्या बोले भाई, मतलब I wonder how much having teams running concurrently, भाई, add DPL to that as well. It genuinely affects, and it also impacts teams like these, because there's this one ownership, so there tends to be some, I don't know if lack of focus could be a thing potentially, but I'm pretty sure it.
But
might
I
be
still don't know who did MI miss though. Which other
not
big player do you
players,
want?
not just players. Again, this is probably just stretching it, and again we are adding an extra layer of logic that they definitely haven't. मतलब इतना नहीं सोच रहे वो लोग, but it could potentially have played a role. Maybe मतलब पूरा management अगर एक ही tournament पे focus कर रहे होते, तो maybe it would have helped. But right now MI is just like, boss, whoever best available ले लो, बाद में देखते हैं क्या होता है. Clearly just shows that doesn't work. You need to have, there's a lot more to cricket than just big names. So yeah, ironic that it's coming from an RCB fan, but there you go.
It's for the first time and the longest time that I've seen Avanish not speak a single word. So
I was waiting for you guys to have your say in SC20. I'll tell you certain things I've observed. I think I'm amazed that you've not mentioned Wayne Parnell, because I think isn't he somewhere in terms of just getting a lot of wickets? Nuwan Tushara was very good to see because I want to know how he'll go in the IPL after that auction being picked. I think he's done relatively okay for MI. What are the other things which really caught my eye? Klassen, dude. Like every time I put on an SA20 game, it's like he just blasts sixes for fun. He's got like 50 boundaries or something. I saw this stat on Twitter. In the 169 balls he's faced, like, see, he's really lighting it up with regards to the SA20. Right, predictions then, because we have to talk about a lot of other things. And Max Mojo, yeah, we'll talk about Rachin's double ton as well, amongst Australia, West Indies, and other cricket that has been going on, and Angelo Matthews and how the hell he got bloody hit wicket. Predictions for the SA20s, boys. In that qualifier one, what is it? Durban taking on Sunrisers.
Yeah.
Sunrisers go straight to the final. They make their second final. Is that the script?
I'm hoping Durban go through. मैंने predict किया था कि वो जीतेंगे, तो let's hope कम से कम वो prediction तो आ जाए. So I'm hoping Durban pull through, but I'm expecting a repeat of qualifier one in the finals as well. JSK had absolutely no business making it to the finals. I hope the organizers, Graham Smith, next time, probably, if and when I ever get a chance to talk to him, that'll be my question. When are you changing the format? Have they changed? I don't know if I'm remembering it correctly, but did they announce that they'll be changing the format next year, or am I probably just?
I haven't read it yet. Could have been, but I
Okay.
haven't got that news yet.
They should follow the WPL format, man. Just have 3 teams going through, 2 versus 3, plays 1 in the final. Khatam. Sorry, Avanish.
I'll tell you what, if you want Graham Smith next time, and I will get him. We'll get him.
That's why I didn't want to jump the gun, and I was like, let Avanish.
No, I was just doing the math in my head, and then I was just like, wait, 11th of Feb, and that's one day after the SC20. We'll try to coax them in 10 terms of be like, we can talk about everything SC20, and I'll try getting Graham Smith on, so that'll be great if we can. So what are your predictions then? So you're sticking with who you've gone for before, the Super Giants, right?
Yeah. Super Giants, and finals would be between the Super Giants and the Sunrisers.
Okay, Nikhil, Super Kings allegiance here.
Yeah, I want to be very practical. It'll be very, very good upset if they go on to win 2 games and win the tournament, which is great. I would not mind it at all for Louis Deploy, more likely, and for Lizard Williams. But I feel both LSG, not LSG, sorry, both DSG and Sunrisers have far too many options to again do Jai Mata Di. JSK have limited options in that sense. So I think it'll probably be one of those 2 guys only who play the first qualifier. So he's taken DSG. I'll go with Sunrisers to do a double.
I don't know how much home advantage does play a part in the SA20 so far, but Joburg will be thanking the stars that both their key games, if they do make it to the final, happen in Joburg before the Cape Town hosts the final on Sunday. So much for SA20, but really, really good to see the second season. And you guys, of course, are having your say in the comments. DSG for the win. So you are echoing Akshay's thoughts indeed. And what a great SA20 predictions this is. 3-2 India seeing Sachin. We love that. We absolutely love that. Right. What else in the best of the rest? We'll show you the newsletter, which is, of course, there on cricket.com's website right now. But Rachin Ravindra, 240. And my stats man tells me that's the highest score by a New Zealand batsman in tests in terms of his maiden test done. 240. That's quite ridiculous. What else happened in that particular test, guys? I know a certain Brand got a 6 for as well. So it's not just Bumrah with a 6 for. Brand was a 6 as well. He gives me an impression of Nicky Boye, the good old Nicky Boye, and how he tweaks the ball. What are things looking at right now in the Bay Oval with regards to stumps? 80 for 4.
80 for 4. Yeah.
Trailed by Mammoth 431 runs. I mean, it's almost writings on the wall, right? That New Zealand are winning this.
I mean, if not winning, it could potentially be a draw, but a South Africa win from here seems unlikely. Looking forward to watching Bedingham, the one sort of capped player they had. He's still there, so that's the only thing that's sort of, motivating me. Ki kal bhi dekh lete ki kya hota hai. Rachin Ravindra, 2 good man. And again, this is where you sort of, a lot of people will try to discredit the knock by saying, "Arey, lekin ye kya lineup tha, sare debutants and stuff like that." But irrespective of how irrelevant or whatever you want to call it, a test is a test. It is a part of the WTC still. New Zealand still have to win it. So, yeah, I mean, a fantastic knock from Rachin, and yeah, onwards and upwards for him.
Absolutely. Yeah. Bill saying Avanish 7 later. Yeah, Tala for a reason, man. 100%. And
so does his second name, by the way. So does his second name.
Oh my word. Can anyone name the 11 of the South Africa in that test? Honestly, it's hard to really think of those new names, but Edward Moore, I think, with the opener was with the captain
Brand.
himself, Brand.
Yeah,
And then the
there's
funny
Brand.
thing is, Brand got more wickets than the runs that he scored in Test debut, which is hilarious.
That's
There was
okay.
another capped player, right? That Zubair Hamza did
There's
play a
Zubair
Test.
Yeah.
Hamza, there's Wayne
Yeah.
Oliver. He's also played. matlab,
Six
yeah,
six
Keegan
uncapped
Peterson.
players.
yeah.
Yeah.
But Nikhil, what was crazy to see in that highlight package as well, that all the bowlers that South Africa had on display, Dane Patterson, Moreki, Olivier, it's insane to see a South Africa test side without pace. All 131, 135, no stain, no Nandri Burger, no raw pace.
That's okay. That raw pace was busy playing colored clothing. It's okay. Signs of times. It's like neither can say live by the other survives kind of that philosophy. But yeah, it's okay. At this point of time, a lot of teams have had a lot of debutants. Afghanistan had it. West Indies had it and they won. So I don't know if South Africa are able to pull through crazy. But yeah, unlikely to happen.
Remember, this is again one of those frustrating two-test series. So no matter what happens in the first one, the second one I think is in the 13th of Feb. So it starts 2 days before the India-England third test itself. What else has been catching our eye? Australia, West Indies, guys. How the hell did West Indies get into such a position where they were absolutely dictating the game? And then Sean Abbott, remember him? He comes
Of
and
course.
gets some runs. I mean, absolutely ridiculous. But
34 ball 100.
unbelievable. 34 ball. He got 100 in that. No,
No,
he-
he had gotten this just
Yeah,
a while
yeah.
back.
T20 blast mate.
T20 blast
blast.
mate.
Yeah, yeah.
Do
He
you
just
remember?
continued that good form.
Do you remember him for that more than other reasons?
Yeah, let's move on. Nikhil bhai, ab baat karo Australia, West Indies. Before Avanish decides to go into uncharted territory. But yeah, ridiculous.
But
match,
one
to be
second,
honest.
okay, fine. Australia, West Indies, guys. When was the last time in that first ODI? I think it was where you saw no Hazelwood, no Stark, no Cummins for the first time ever since fucking I don't know 1945 or something.
Yeah,
I mean, it's been an age.
that's how you have to play bilaterals. Sun rahe ho, India? I don't know. I don't think they can hear it. Sorry.
नहीं सुनते.
And yeah, how
आज,
Xavier
Rohit
Bartlett,
साहब
bhai,
की
the
ठान नहीं है तो, yeah.
proper use of. See, the one thing that I've always credit Australia is they at times just are finding people in their prime and they're putting them in the national colors and see how they go. And it's okay if they don't do well. Most often they've gone on to do well. So Fraser McGurk had an incredible start to his career. If you haven't checked it, please go and check the 5 balls that he lasted and
Flash
how he
bang and
played.
wallop.
Exactly, and it is okay, not a problem, but that you have to give them that freedom to play. So I think Bartlett was great in that first gig, and second gig, though, yeah, I mean West Indies. Okay, I mean you expect Australia to find a way because that the opponent pulling attack is such that there is room, and it's Joseph Ford, Shepherd, not the attack that will fear. So always a room for improvement and some great catches though. If you haven't seen that dude catch that as well from Cam Green.
Yeah, I think a lot of those guys will also feature in the T20 series. There's been some changes last minute of the Australian squad. I think
Yeah.
McDermott comes back in for Matthew Short. Spencer Johnson also will feature in that final ODI, which starts on Tuesday. Right, ILT20 is what some of the people are saying in the comment. We'll go to Akshay straight. Akshay, you been following the ILT20 at all?
I mean,
Skippable,
following
skippable.
it, not following it just as much as I've been given updates by the social media managers of all the teams, because I've been trying to catch hold of a couple of players every day. I get match reports from them, so yeah, it's pretty much been अच्छा ठीक है अभी WhatsApp पे आ गया कि क्या चल रहा है तो ठीक है देख ही लेते हैं. But Desert Vipers had a good side, but for some reason they've been bottling it. MI Emirates, as expected, are doing well. They were not the greatest, so to say. Last year, I'm trying to think, they weren't. Clearly, they weren't. There was Gulf Giants and Desert Vipers who sort of took on or did really well last year. Gulf Giants, again, Nikhil bhai, in terms of a couple of players, I actually wanted to pick your brains as well. Desert Vipers, Shadab, Vanindo, Shaheen, you would expect an attack like this to do a lot better than they have, right?
And I think it's also the conditions, right? And that is something that is, I mean, you look at the venue, and that's only one thing that's coming to your mind: toss. You lose the toss, it's taking a lot out of sides in terms of while batting first, and it's almost becoming completely different surface while bowling. But if you haven't checked out, Shaheen Afridi had a great finish to a game with the bat. So that's one highlight for you to check out, and that was a good one. And you can see it from that expression of Akshay how good that win was.
By the way, Sharjah Warriors, but what's that lineup?
Sharjah, we should actually ask our beloved Sridhar because I think he has a part to play indeed. Guys, top 4 league, IPL, SA20, BBL, and PSL. So no one really cares about the ILT20. But there's been some good stuff if you guys. Because who bloody watches cricket on Z, bro? Like on Z, like that is unreal.
Wow,
That is.
look at Avanish. You're like dissing Z as if it's some मतलब गली का ऐसा क्या है भाई Z अच्छा ही है क्यों
It's
Z
not
ने
a
क्या
Sony
किया?
comment. It's not a Sony comment.
No,
Let's put it that-
I just generally feel like the ILT20 really is not my cup of tea, but maybe you guys think about it that way. With Warner, of course, playing it. There's some other good players. Shamar Joseph was supposed to play it, but I think he got ruled out because of that toe injuries.
Yeah.
So unfortunate over there. And Case Singh, you're saying 7-0. I don't even want to start about how many Premier Leagues we've had. We've had a more successful era than the Klopp era, even though Klopp was your manager for the last 7, 8
Wait,
or
how
9
do you know
years.
he's a Liverpool fan?
He's saying 7-0 because we lost to them in Anfield. I don't know if you want me to spit that fact out, but I've said it. But yeah, Case saying. But banter appreciated. Kumaraswamy, bye. RCB ka gossip batao, which is great.
Gossip भी बोलने वाले थे ना भाई फ्लो में कुछ और ही मुझे ऐसा क्यों लग रहा है कुछ और ही निकल जाता आरसीबी अरे गॉसिप वाला तो अभी आपके सामने यूनाइटेड का जर्सी पहन के बैठा है भाई चहल बाय द वे अवनीश अगेन टू गिव यू मोर context the reason Shubham asked you Chahal's gossip was because you had told on it was the second T20 second India versus Afghanistan T20 when we were in the studio nicely oh yeah Chahal I've heard a lot of dirty things about him I don't think I can tell this to the point where watch along khatam hote the first thing I did was step out I was running back home and I realized oh Avnish said something I dial his number I call I asked him ki bhai what was the Chahal gossip because the way he made it sound as if boss Chahal's been up to some mischief there but thank God I sort of got to know about the gossip. I'm not sure if you can tell it out loud. So yeah, it's up to you, Avnish.
Dude, all I'm gonna say is that look, when I said that at that point of time, I was like, shit, people are gonna be super curious right now. It's not something that you can actually really say, but I swear to God, I can really connect the dots right now when I think about it. And I'm like, wow, I'm absolutely baffled. Sure, he's a great cricketer and all of that stuff, but sometimes it's deeper than that, and I'll leave it on that. Case saying, yeah, okay, we're established, dude. You honestly established how sad you are as a Scouser fan. You've lost to the weekend. You're just crying. And I hope that Liverpool do something right after Klopp. But I'll leave it there because I understand that this is going a different phase right now. Avnish has an inside source, apparently. I do have a couple of sources, but I can't, of course, put them under the bus, can I? And opinions on the Hamilton move, quite crazy. It was ridiculous. Man. When I saw that, it was absolutely ridiculous. But really appreciate all you guys joining in on this Monday Night Live, including Case Singh, and good luck Case Singh in, of course, all the other football things that you do. Shamar Joseph in place.
Yeah, I was getting to that since IPL chat bola. There are rumors. I'm not even kidding. There are rumors. P-Dog himself has confirmed. P-Dog himself has confirmed. I'm not saying. I'm literally taking someone else's name. जाके देख रिकॉर्ड में कौन है मैंने तो नहीं बोला है भाई इस बार P-Dog ने बोला है मैं बस I'm quoting P-Dog as is. This time namesake and I have sources. So I'm just saying he's apparently told कि potentially Shamar Joseph could be playing bold. So now your guess is as good as mine because he's gone on record. I mean, he sort of tweeted saying Shamar Joseph might play bold in 2024. Now, you can make what you want to out of it.
He'll get most bold dismissals.
I mean, if Shamar Josephs actually comes to
it'll be interesting.
RCB.
Shamar and Alzadi, both the Josephs.
I'll tell you what, I'll stand out at St. Joseph's to welcome Shamar himself. And with a lot more, you can, of course, take it down and mark my words. Any Afghanistan versus Sri Lanka, we were just getting to that, Max Mojo. Quite ridiculous, honestly. I think that Matthews' dismissal is hogging all the headlines for the wrong reason. Is that the worst wicket you've ever seen a batsman give away with the shit ball ever?
I don't think it's even the worst dismissal of last week. Under 19 World Cup, mein agar aapne dekha ho, to definitely that takes the cake because that was... And to be honest, I feel for the batter there because it's not even like the ball was going anywhere. that's pretty normal, yaar, ki ball utha
Why
ke
do you
dekh.
feel for the batter? It's in the rule. The ball was live.
Who Hamza Sheikh, that England batter?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Correct. I mean, see, the thing is, it's pretty normal for a batter to just take the ball and give it to the keeper, or just hand it to the.
Ask
Yeah.
fielders. Ask. Based
Right.
के साथ अभी हो चुका है. आप किधर फिर? The ball was
To quote-
live. They appealed. Yeah. Sorry. Go on.
No. To sort of use a quote, borrow a quote from the great gangs of Wasipur. Permission लेना चाहिए ना, तो पूछ लेना चाहिए था बस.
I mean, it's quite crazy. You know, where I came across it was actually I was coming across some football gossip on the Sun's UK website. And I don't know if I can share their screen or share my screen right now, but the headline read, "The game's gone. England cricketer given out for breaking little known rule." And I'm just like, wow, like look at how media around the world react to certain news breaks and episodes like this. But let us know what you guys think of it in the comments below as well. More to come,
But
of course.
just on
Go
that
on.
though, we could really have. He's had 7 legitimate dismissal forms all done. So again, 7 for a reason. So if you want to predict the next one that will break, whether it is handling the ball, please do it now, so that whenever it happens, we can pull this put out and say that okay, this is how he's gotten out. That could be great. And of course, we can spend 1 minute talking about Ibrahim Zadran's excellent maiden turn and him opening with his statue, whether you want to call it that way. So, Akshay, please, if you want to dwell more into that details.
I mean, more than that, I was actually going to say you. I actually thought you would say Rahmat Shah, but yeah, I feel this has happened before, na. Chandrapals have also opened together, and so ठीक है, चलता है. It's common. Isn't Mujib Zadran also one of his nephews?
Yeah, that
He is.
may be. Yeah.
So that's there. तो होता है भाई, अफगानिस्तान में सब कुछ चलता है. मतलब family, it's a family sport clearly. But what
And
Rahmat Shah,
Matthews. Yeah, sorry.
yeah, sorry, coming back to Rahmat Shah, I just wanted to add, because we've spoken about this during the World Cup as well, ki this is a format that really suits him, not just because of the duration and all of that, but his technique in particular. Twin 50s, almost got to a century in that first innings, but again, you think Afghanistan have it in them to play test cricket consistently and not just these one-offs.
I think they should be given more chances. They had a 200 stand for both first and second wicket, and then to collapse like that. And again, there are some decent enough names there, and they'll only get better if they play a lot more. So I think that intent will have to be there to give them a lot more games, and then they'll get better at that as well, hopefully.
Yeah, unfortunately, a 10-wicket defeat for them. But sports fans saying, where was this test broadcast? It was on Sony Live. I think it was on Fan Code as well. But
Fan Code, I know. Yeah, that's where I saw it.
Sony Live as well. So essentially, yeah, the only test in Sri Lanka, I think Prabhat Jayasuriya was it who got the man of the match? I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But you can catch more of it on cricket.com in terms of all the stuff that you need to go check out. More great questions which we'll take in the 12th man segment. But before that, it's the penultimate segment of MNL as usual. And it is, of course, Akshay's fucking quiz. Right. I said amazing quiz. I don't know if you guys...
clearly.
Honestly.
Clearly. Of course. Thank you
Amazing.
so much. Thank you so much for that wonderful introduction, Avanish. But yeah, again, last week we'd asked you, who to guess this player. There we go. And I hope, there we go. The answer to that, of course, is the current Punjab Kings skipper, Shikhar Dhawan. A lot of you got it right, so congratulations. But of course, like always, just one winner. And the winner this time is Charan Reddy. So congratulations, Charan, on getting yourself a voucher. So do DM us on Twitter and we'll ensure that the voucher is given to you in time. So sticking to the theme, let's go to this week's Howzzat. So there you go. These are the teams. Gujarat Lions, Kings 11 Punjab, Pune Warriors India, and the Rajasthan Royals. 4 teams, fairly short, and to be honest, I would say this is a lot more simpler. You can sort of, you can take your guess. And in terms of, what the winning voucher is, so you get a 500 rupee Amazon voucher. Unfortunately, not RCB tickets. Bhai, मेरे को खुद नहीं मिल रहा RCB tickets. मैं कहाँ से दूसरों को दूंगा? Please, पहले मुझे जाने दो. I haven't even been to the stadium in a while at least. So there you go, 500 rupee Amazon voucher up for grabs. The four teams, again, just to be clear: Gujarat Lions, Kings 11, Punjab, Pune Warriors, India, Rajasthan Royals. Wait for the live stream to end before you before you sort of give in your answers. Do not do it during the live chat. Wait for the live stream to end and give in your answers or your responses in the main comment section once the live stream is ended. So yeah, looking forward to seeing who will be the winner this time around. So there you go, Avnish.
And
Okay,
can't
super.
trust this guy. He's saying haven't been to the stadium in a while. Abhi
आरसीबी
मैं
मैच भाई अभी मैं देखा, मैं बोलता हूँ, मुझे
I mean,
लगा
तो
मुझे लगा
specify करना, specify करो.
आरसीबी मैच की भाई मेरे को आरसीबी बाय द वे अगेन जस्ट एडिंग टू शुभम गुप्ता had asked who would you prefer, what would you prefer, Akshay, RCB winning the IPL or India winning the T20 World Cup? I'm pretty sure
गलत question, गलत
Avnish
question,
knows the
गलत
answer.
question.
Like, yeah, Avnish, what would
Everybody
I
knows the
prefer?
answer.
Yeah.
Everybody knows the answer.
I
But
can't believe you already answered that. That was part of the 12th match segment. A
I
whole
haven't
host of
answered.
questions.
I
We'll
haven't
take
answered.
we'll take all of those and much more in the 12th match segment because we're really running out of time. So let's get cracking with that. But fantastic quiz again from Akshay, and not a fucking quiz. Have some shame. Cheers. Let's move on to, of course, your segment. You, the viewers, beautiful people, 12th man. Let's have it. Right, Bill muh mein le lo say Akshay's a snake, which is absolutely ridiculous.
That's a snake? For a second, I thought that was a duck. Okay, how is that a snake? I can't see.
When is the next season of Game Nights airing, bud?
Yeah, it'll air soon, Arhan, Avnish. Like, I'm trying because we've got the WPL coming up and I've got a Vietnam vacation coming up, so I'll be more busy there. We'll try our best to get it out soon. We're trying to do things differently. We're coming up with a couple of new segments, a couple of new interesting elements. So yeah, let's hope it's as interesting as the previous edition. So thank you so much, Arhan, for asking.
Akshay mentioned the WPL there. Santosh wants to know when the tickets will be coming on sale. And also, can you just shed a little light on what we're having in terms of plans for the WPL really quickly?
100%. So 23rd of Feb is when the WPL begins, at least the first leg in Bangalore. So we'll be having fan cams, we'll be doing watch-alongs. That is still the 4th of Feb. 4th of March, beg your pardon. And before that, we'll of course be doing a mega preview where we preview all the 5 teams. Lot of excitement. We've already been discussing the teams, the squads. It's the best part or a very good sign of a tournament is when all the teams look competitive. When you're struggling to come up with cons, when you're struggling to sort of end the strengths of each of these sides. So really looking forward to it. So 19th and 20th, 19th MNL hoga. 21st and 22nd, we'll do the mega preview where we'll discuss all the 5 teams. So there'll be 2 live streams. On the first live show, we'll sort of talk about 3 teams. On the second live show, we'll talk about the next 2 teams, or rather the remaining 2 teams. And 23rd, we'll start with our watch-alongs where Shomi and Neha will be joining me. Avnish and Nikhil will also be making sort of special appearances, so to say, in between during one of the other watch-alongs. Looking forward to a lot of excitement, and yeah, fingers crossed RCB will win. WPL tickets, bhai, nahi pata hai, Santosh. Even I'm just as excited as you are, and I'm hoping they release them soon.
Okay, I'll be enjoying those fan cams 100%, let alone the watch-alongs indeed. Nikhil, tomorrow is a very important day for the under-19 boys, and Prajwala has a belter for question. We can probably preview that semi-final clash against South Africa. I think it is against India in Benoni. What have you seen in light so far about the under-19 World Cup journey? Some great young names, which of course are yet to be household, but the promise is certainly there, like every other under-19 tournament.
yeah, I can't wait for the one guy that I'm 100% sure Akshay will talk about. So I'm keeping it for him. But how good has been Pandyaji? Excellent numbers. Every game coming in, taking averaging of 6 का bowling average किसका होता है भाई? And to add to that, the batting talent, you always feel with under 19, there's a lot of Indian batting talent, which is again great space for them to convert into something big. Looking forward to see Mushir again, with the bat celebrating, Sarfraz having a good time out, although as a substitute. So that's there. At this point of time, it's the bowler that worries me more than anything else. So Akshay, please shed light on the guy who has excellent Yorker. And I don't know how India will find a way, but I'm sure they will, hopefully.
I was trying to think, like, right now the pressure is on me कि भाई किसकी बात हो रही थी. There's Naman Tiwari, there's Raj Limbani, of course, and Nikhil bhai is talking about the latter, if I'm not wrong. Raj
I'm
Limbani
talking about
or
the South African guy.
क्वेना मफाका. भाई अब मैं क्वेना मफाका के साथ ही स्टार्ट करना चाहता था. आपने इंडिया का नाम देके और प्रेशर में डाल दिया. अरे किसका नाम देना है किसका. Of course क्वेना मफाका भाई. मतलब that action, that run up, highest wicket taker as well. Just so happy. I'm to be honest, just like last time, agar is baar ka under 19 World Cup had also happened ahead of the IPL
The
auction,
auction,
I
yeah.
genuinely think there would have been a couple of bids, if not more, for a few players, not just one or two. This Callum Wilder from Australia, again, a player that Anirudh swears by, one of our colleagues, and I happened to catch a couple of those games. And yeah, I must say, genuinely a talent to look out for. India se Mushir Khan has been scoring runs, has been really good. Sachin Das is someone I'm sort of
Yeah.
going to keep a close eye on, even more so because of the kind of talent he's sort of the kind of player India would also want in their main team, in the senior side, that is. So I want to see how is he groomed, how is he developed. IPL caliber bhi hai, matlab wo aggression and all of that. So next year mega auction, you can also see a couple of them getting bids. But yeah, 100%, a lot of names to look forward to, and it is going to be an interesting game for sure tomorrow.
And let's see how India does in that semi-final, because Australia-Pakistan in that second semi-final. But some good comments coming through right now with regards to the under-19 boys. And speaking of stats, again, another one to show you really quickly and throw in here and plug in. Top run scorers in the 2024 Under-19 World Cup, and Mushir Khan is right up there. So it's been a very, very busy day for Sarfraz and Mushir with regards to all the cricket that's happening in their household right now, but onwards and upwards to them. More questions to feature right now. And I just realized I haven't really showed the newsletter and the best of the rest. So maybe there's a little bit more time we can just take. But let me just take that one question. IPL teams review, will do it when, of course, closer to the tournament is penciled in for 26th of March, Rupendra. So we still have
पहले
so much
schedule तो
time.
आ जाने दो भाई. वही
Yeah,
अब तक schedule ही
100%.
नहीं आया, पता भी नहीं है.
And Raj, we're also lining up something really special for fans. Watch this space closely with thought of a call-in show. If we can figure out the nitty-gritties and technicalities of that, then 100% we'd like to hear you guys, let alone see you all on StreamYard indeed. There was another few at the top of the show with regards to potential changes and all of that. But in the meanwhile, because it's obviously a constant theme on MNL, I have to showcase the newsletter. So let's have it. I'll showcase my screen right now because we've already spoken about so many things. If you guys are just joining us, it's honestly insane how much cricket there's been and how much we've already kind of covered. But in case we've missed it, here you go. It is, of course, time to show you the newsletter. Let me just get all these things off my face. As you can see, the newsletter, brilliant. The 5th of February edition, like I said, Ronaldo's birthday. He doesn't feature in it, but there's definitely a Bartlett, a Bumrah, and a Brand. All the Bs on this Monday edition. Indeed. On the field, off the field, we've spoken about everything, but we've not spoken about this. I don't know if you guys saw this. That's why we like the newsletter about the monitor lizard that stepped in the field of play. It was brilliant. Honestly, brilliant. There's more other things that you guys can go check out. Under-19 Pollard over there, as you saw. The women's as well. Shefali Verma, who's playing for the North Zone, she scored the fastest century in List A cricket by an Indian woman, scoring 133 not out of 64. And we've already been familiarized with unbeaten 133s before international cricket. So I'll leave that there. Mayank Agarwal, good to see him back. Of course, it was bizarre what happened to him on that flight. And yeah, you of course can catch out the other news as well. For example, Jay Shah, who's set to continue as the ACC boss because he of course wanted to have a crack at the ICC. Right, guys, there's so much to of course keep on going on and on and on about, but you guys can go check that out. Akshay and Nikhil, thank you so much for your time on this first Monday of the Feb. And it's always good to know that there's lots of people joining us and tuning in as ever. People are, of course, giving us some love on Spotify as well. So do catch that as a podcast because I know you guys love your longer format of content. It's me, Avanish, signing off. We'll see you guys soon. When is the next time you guys are going to see each other? Obviously in office tomorrow, Akshay, but when am I seeing next?
No, you'll be seeing me on this 15th of Feb. I won't be coming in. Of course, I have a flight to catch tomorrow, so I'll be busy with all of that. So I'll be seeing Avanish on the 15th of Feb. Ideally, Nikhil Bhai should be here before the the IPL, that is. So looking forward to seeing that as well. Thank you so much, all of you. It's been great bringing this to you. See you guys next Seminal.
Next, when am I seeing you? Am I seeing you just on the first day of that third test?
Yeah. Or the Monday Night Live.
The Monday Night Live next. Oh, we should probably, fingers crossed, another belter of a guest. Hope you guys like Darren Gough. Please, I really charm these guests. So please like the video and have some sort of respect for us at cricket.com. We're reaching 45K very, very shortly. Hopefully we already have. But if you haven't, help us and subscribe. Tell a friend about cricket.com because we're definitely here to stay. And what a Monday it's been. Thanks for watching or listening. We'll leave it there. Cheers.
Saturday.